Today, I want us to have a conversation about a quiet tension many of us living abroad have. Even if we don't talk about it, it's there. And that's the tension between building back home or building a life here. Investing back home or investing here and building your life here. It's the tension between visible results and quietly building. Welcome to A Broad Perspective. Here we talk about building our lives beyond borders, everything living abroad. And especially this year, we're going to be talking about mindset shifts and what we need to do to be able to thrive wherever we are living. What we need to do to thrive and not just survive. I'm outside today. It's a bit cold and a bit windy. I hope you can hear me clearly. So these are two real life scenarios. Scenario one, this lady moves to the UK as a student. She comes to study, to do her master's. So she's well skilled, well qualified. She comes to do her master's and is working part-time, as most students do. She's working all the time she's allowed part-time she's using to work. So she's picking up as many shifts as she can. She's taking up as many jobs as she can to be able to make some money in her part-time. She does her master's 1 year and is able to complete. During the time she's doing her master's, she's also sending some money back home because somehow she's able to, based on the kind of jobs she's doing. So she finishes her master's, and after finishing her master's, she decided to take a care worker job because she couldn't find a job in her profession immediately, but she didn't want to go back, as many people don't want to. She didn't want to go back, so she takes up a care worker job and is taking up as many shifts as she can. She's making money. Her aim is to make as much money as she can and send it back home. So she's sending money home. Within no time, she's built her parents a house. Within no time, she's bought property. She's building houses. And you know how when you walk home and they say, that property belongs to so and so. They are in UK. You walk to another, and I remember there's a time we were scouting for land, and the person who was taking us around was telling us, oh, you see this fence property is in Australia, this one is in USA. And you know the pride with which they say, you can tell the pride with which the people at home say, this one is in USA, this one is in UK, this one is in USA. So is in Australia. So she's buying property, she's building, and there's clearly visible results. They're like, that family sent their daughter abroad, and this is what she's doing. It can be seen, it's clear. So she's working her care job. She hasn't managed to get a professional job. She hopes at some point she'll be able to get a professional job and move into her profession, but that hasn't happened. So she's taking up as many shifts as she can, and she's hoping someday she can bring even one or two of her siblings so they can make money together, so that their siblings can also have a better life. So in the meantime, that's what she's doing, and she's making as much money as she can, working long hours, all that. But there's visible results. The second scenario, this gentleman comes as a nurse. He's not earning much, gets into the NHS. I mean, at the lowest band a nurse can get in with. He's not earning much, starts working, but a few months into working as a nurse and into his shift, he enrolls for a master's course. So he enrolls for a master's course so he can better his skills and prospects for a better job. And so he's either working or he's studying. And during school breaks, he's taking up as many shifts as he can because he needs to pay for his master's school fees. So he sends some money back home, but not much, because he needs to cater for his school fees and he needs to cater for his living expenses. Once in a while, if he can, he goes back home. So he finishes his master's. Thank God. He finishes his master's. And then he's able to apply for higher positions. So he actually applies for higher positions in research in different areas, and he gets a better job. So he leaves the NHS, he stops working shifts, he goes into a better role. In this role, he starts to gain experience, he starts to build networks, and now he's seeing his career trajectory taking the right path, the path he wanted, because for him, nursing was an entry point. So he's happy about that. He takes up this role, he works very hard, he's earning a bit more, he builds his networks, and 2 years later, he's able to apply for an even bigger role. And he applies for it, he gets it in the pharmaceutical industry, and he moves. So now he's in a good job, in a leadership position, he's earning good money, he's able to invest here, he's able to buy a house, he's able to do a few things, and he's even now thinking about what kind of tangible investments does he want to make back home. He's thinking about, where do I want to retire? Do I want to retire here? Do I want to retire at home? What investments, where do I want to put my money here? Where do I want to buy a house? Those are the conversations he's having, and those are the ideas he's having. And now he can send money home, I mean, much better than he could when he first came. And he feels like he's really, really settled. So I want to ask you a question. Between these two people, who do you think is more successful? Or who, actually, the real question is, who do you think is on the right path? Which one do you think is the right path when we move abroad? And these are just two scenarios. They're actually real life scenarios, people I know. These are just two scenarios, but between these two, who do you think is on the right path, and which is the right path to come here? And this is the quiet tension many of us live with, but rarely talk about. You don't talk about it enough. It's the pressure to show results or to prove that you're doing well. The pressure to show that you're doing well back home. It's the guilt of not being able to invest enough or send enough money back home. It's the fear of being seen as stagnant, or sometimes even looking at yourself and feeling like you're stagnant. So sometimes not external, it's internal. It's also the fear and the uncertainty of the bet you're taking on yourself. So probably you've taken the bet on yourself to invest in yourself and your skills and build quietly fast, but you don't know whether that will pay off. You're not sure whether that will pay off. And we live with all this tension and quietly inside us, and no one knows. Sometimes building abroad looks slow, unimpressive, invisible, but at the same time, sometimes just investing back home can delay your growth here. But at the end of the day, it's about what's the right path for you and what does success look like for you. It's about being intentional about building your life here. I like to refer to us as people who are building lives beyond borders. So it's about being intentional about what you want to build and where you want to build it. I don't believe there's a right or wrong path. Because as much as we say we should build here, there's also the fact that, and sometimes that's the right path, to come here and make money and send it back home. Because also some people, their immediate family and your nuclear family is back home, and they came here, and the priority is to make sure the nuclear family is well and well taken care of. Or the priority could also be to build here and have the family come over, or to be here with your family. So it depends. It all depends on what success looks like for you and being very intentional about it. I'll tell you, for me, I'm carrying two big lessons from 2025 into 2026. And the first lesson is, this is me personally, and let me know if it resonates with you. Let me know what lessons you're carrying from 2025. The first one is, stop chasing the money. Stop chasing the money. Build relationships. Build relationships and build networks. Sometimes these relationships and networks you're building are from scratch, depending on the reason you came and all that. But that's more meaningful than just chasing money. So what that looks like for me, or what that might look like for you, it could be that birthday invitation for you or for your child. But then that would just lead to meeting someone, having a chat with another parent, having a conversation. You never know where that would lead. You could also learn something. It could mean saying hi to that person after church because you're always dashing off after. It could mean just saying hello to your neighbor and having a bit of a conversation. It could mean saying hi to the chap at your local shop. It could mean reaching out to more of your colleagues and being more open at work. Just build relationships. And the ones you already have, maintain them. Like being very intentional about meeting my friends, meeting them, having conversations with them, finding out how they are doing. Because sometimes it's relationships and networks that provide opportunities, that are open opportunities, as opposed to just chasing money. It also means intentionally building my professional networks, whether that is LinkedIn, whether that is webinars, whether that is conferences, or whatever that is for you, attending conference, but being in spaces where people of your profession are and like-minded people. That's the other thing. Being in spaces where like-minded people are having conversations, because that's how you open opportunities and more sustainable opportunities. So I am being really, really intentional about that. The second lesson I have learned is knowing what is important now. Being very clear about what is important for me now. Let's even break it down to this year. And for me, one thing that has come out clearly over the past year is I want to have time for my family and I want to have time for my daughter, who's still very young. By the way, I did a video with her where she talked about what she thinks about life abroad, and you guys showed her so much love. So thank you. And if you haven't watched it, please check it out in the link below. So I want to be there for her. And that means I have to spend my time really and appropriate my time really wisely. I'm not just using my time anyhow because I've identified that that's a priority. It also drives the kind of jobs I can take. There are certain jobs I won't take because they're taking me out of that priority. That's the priority now. There's a time I might be able to do that. There are certain places I cannot go. There are certain locations or even places I cannot work because they will take me away from her. So for me, that's me being very intentional about what's important now. That's gonna change. In a few years, that is going to change. So I think you need to be very clear about what's important now. Is what is important now building at home, or is what is important now building here? So those are the two lessons for me. I'm not chasing money, I'm building relationships, and I know what is important now. And that drives, that informs the kind of activities I do, the kind of jobs I take up, how I spend my time. That's how I'm being intentional in 2026. I don't know what you have learned in 2025. I'd love to hear. And I'd also like to hear which of those two stories resonate with you. And this year, I want us to have more conversations about how do we live, how do we build a thriving life here? How do we build our lives beyond borders? What's the right path to take? Like for people who have lived abroad for longer, to be able to say, I made these mistakes and I don't want someone else to make them. Or this is what I've learned. Even if it's a year, 2 years you've stayed here, this is what I've learned and this is what I think is the way to go. I realize the systems here are very different from the systems back home. So our mindset also have to shift. So we also need to change our mindsets. We need to change our mindsets about lots of things for us to be able to thrive. And we're going to be having more and more of those conversations here. So let me know in the comments. And I would really, really like to know from you before you go. Tell me, at this moment, are you building more for here or are you building more for home? I'd like to know. Tell me which one are you doing and tell me why you're doing that. Give me your reason for doing that. I'd really love us to have that conversation. Thank you for watching. If you liked this video, please press the like button. Please share it with your friends. Please subscribe if you haven't so that we can be able to reach more people. Thank you, and until the next video.